and I'm going to tell you how you can actually appeal, because another thing that causes bigger problem is your appeal method. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I don't know if you guys have been seeing what has been going on lately in the YouTube space. A lot of creators have been posting about how YouTube demonetized their channel. A lot of YouTube educators have also been trying to educate new YouTubers concerning this, especially with faceless channels, channels that use AI to create content. And even big YouTube educators have been stating on their channel that YouTube is engaging on mass demonetization. And you guys, it is for real. Personally, when this year started, I did a lot of research on the concerning YouTube policies and algorithm and how it's working this year. You guys recall that last year in June, YouTube came up with new policies concerning content creation, mass produced content, inauthentic content, reuse content, and a lot of people were kind of scared and shaking, especially faceless channels, right? The truth is that YouTube is actually serious about all those things. Okay, so this is a very serious thing and is actually happening. And I'm going to tell you how you can actually appeal, because another thing that causes bigger problem is your appeal method, which is what is going to even be the focus of my video right now, because there's one of my community members that did her appeal the wrong way, and this actually affected. And I'm also going to make reference to a particular creator here on this YouTube space, right? Whose channel got demonetized. It was already a monetized channel. It got demonetized, and even after he made an appeal, his appeal was rejected. And I strongly feel that his appeal method had a huge role, because of course he created his content himself, right? And even though he had made an error in the music or the sound that he used, right? But he was able to modify that sound, right? So because YouTube's policy says that even if you're going to use somebody else's content, you have to try to make it your own by editing it, or adding a few, don't, not minor editing, like you just make it your own. Do you get? So this person actually modified this sound that he used. All he needed to do was to prove to YouTube, appeal to YouTube and prove to YouTube that he actually did this. That would have just ended it. But like I said earlier, his appeal method was wrong. You see, when it comes to songs, right? I always advise against it. Just go to YouTube library to be on the safe side, or you subscribe to platforms like Epidemic Sounds. Do you get, so that you can get really nice sounds if you know that you want quality for your video. But you see that YouTube library, right? It actually does have, just that it's so large and it's difficult to sometimes browse through and find some really nice sounds. But I will always advise to be on the safe side. Just go to YouTube library if you know you don't have money for Epidemic Sounds yet. So all these using sounds that it's going to take a sound because you've seen that there's no copyright issue on the sounds, or the owner of the sound says that it can be used for free. Please don't even try it. No matter how they tell you. There's one time on my live stream, I think, I don't know, a musician or a singer came to my live stream and told me that I should use his sound for my videos, that he wants to promote the sound. And I told him that, see, I'm sorry, that even if you now have, because I told him about the YouTube copyright thing, and he was like, no, that there's no copyright tag on that sound, that he's giving the rights to use it, that I shouldn't worry about anything. And you know what I told him? I said, if it's a new sound, right, and the YouTube system, the YouTube algorithm is not familiar with that sound as one of the sounds that are, that are free from copyright claims or strike, it is going to give me copyright claim. Do you understand? So if it's a sound that is already registered in the YouTube system as okay, people can use it, then fine, right? So, but if it's a sound that the YouTube algorithm does not understand or doesn't, it will give me that copyright. So this was what I was trying to explain to the guy, but I think he wasn't really getting me. But if you understand the YouTube system, then you understand this thing. So now let me talk about how to appeal properly, because this is where a lot of people make mistakes. When you have a issue with YouTube, right, when they send you mails like this, sometimes when you appeal, in fact, most of the time, for the most part, if you appeal correctly, right, you are going to, your channel will be reinstated, or your monetization will be reinstated, right? So let me state a few things that I've written out here on how you can appeal. So now there are options to make this appeal, right? There's the option of appealing through text, and there's also the option of appealing through video. I would advise you, please choose video. Video can be very stressful, but it's best for you if you know that your channel means a lot to you. then please choose video. It just take the same process of creating videos like this that I'm doing right now. Okay, so what you can do, make a video of yourself, showing the process of your creation, right? So you can have your camera position at your rear end, like, or maybe a side view just showing you and your suit, your studio, your creative studio, right? So choose video over text. First of all, you can start by introducing yourself and stating the reason why you're making this video. That you got a message and email from them, your channel has been this, has been that, and you are trying making this video now to prove to them that you created this video yourself, right? So choose video over text. Now, in your video process, you should entail the following: rear angle, I just mentioned this rear angle view showing you, or side angle view showing you and your editing suite or your studio working, right? Showing your creativity process, right? Now, second, there should be a screen recording of your creative process. For instance, when you are using you are generating your stories, this is for mainly for faceless channel. You're generating your stories, you are editing them, you are using CapCut. If you are typing your stories yourself, make sure that your screen recording shows your raw documents. It's your document, your raw file, or the blueprints of where your stories were saved on your Google Docs or your notepad or anything. And then if you are getting story ideas from ChatGPT, make sure that your screen recording is capturing the whole process, right? If possible, show the history with the dates of when ChatGPT generated these stories for you. So you're going to show your screen. Make sure the screen recording is active, and then also get screen recording of your editing process on whether it's Canva or on CapCut, right? So your image generation process, the AI tools you use to generate your image, let your screen record capture that. So yeah, so basically, then if you are getting sound as well, and if for instance maybe you got a wrong copyright claim or strike concerning a song you use on Epidemic Sound, and you are subscribed to Epidemic Sound, your screen recording have to show that you are subscribed to Epidemic Sound, show your subscription plan and all of that. And if you are using a sound that you feel okay, you need to edit it, you are going to edit it, show the editing process. All right, guys, this video has gone too far, and I hope it was really helpful to you. I would make more videos to explain. I'll make another video to explain further on this whole YouTube demonetization and what you need to do to stay safe. All right. If this video was helpful to you, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't, and share this video to somebody who might need it. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.